Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of the Burn the Manual Founders Chat with Anthony Carter. And
OnJonet Williams.
welcome, welcome, one and all. We're going to jump right in. I want Miss O to give us a check-in because she's in California and apparently it's 140 degrees out there. It's just gone crazy. So
Oh,
what is going on out there? How are you keeping cool these days? What's going on in your life?
oh, well, I must be a lucky one here in California because I have an apartment with central AC. So I
Okay.
crank it, crank it up, and I've been staying cool. But I forgot that not a lot of people have AC in California, and
Hmm.
a lot of houses don't have them. And all my friends are like, so hot, suffering, and I have not been suffering. I've been doing great. but but yeah, it's so hot and it's so funny because right before this heat wave, there was this really small moment of a few days, a little cool outside.
Hmm.
The wind was like, picking up. You could feel the crispiness in the air. And I was like, I can't wait for fall. I am so ready. I kind of was just prepared. It made me so happy. Like the seasons were changing. And I'm like, I am so ready for just Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, like the whole thing. And then it
Okay.
got and then it got hot like 2 days later. And I'm shook. I didn't know this was coming, and it's just put a put a damper on my fall plans right now because I'm ready. I'm ready for pumpkins and stuff.
Okay. So
So
you're ready
it's
for the candy apples, the candy corn, the little ghouls, the things that go bump in the night
yeah.
to have
I
your
just
gooses bumped.
yeah, I feel like this time of the year always makes me happy, very motivated. And it just feels comfortable. I just like the season. I think throughout my life, even as a child, it's the highlight, the holiday season. Summer is cool, right? And you get to go out and have fun, but like,
Mhm.
yeah, the holiday season is what I've been wishing for.
Okay. Well, it will
So,
be here before you know it. It will be here before you know it. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast, so it's actually very cool here. Like
mm,
I woke up yesterday and I thought, okay, this is September. It's got kind of a nip in the air.
mm-hmm,
And even when the sun is out, it's not blazing
mm-hmm,
hot here, right? And today, I'm walking around today, as you can see, I have on my hoodie and I
mm-hmm,
was bundled up most of today, I was in the house a lot of the day and I had to
yeah,
go out and do a couple of things. But when I was here, I'm bundled up. We
mm-hmm,
don't go for as much as I love the cold and prefer it to the heat. I do like the cold because you can bundle up and kind of like,
yeah,
strip down or take off layers as you need to. But when you're hot, it's just hot. And it's like, okay, why are we doing this?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah. Oh, but you get to
Okay.
experience like fall out there. I'm so
Oh yeah, yeah,
jealous.
yeah. I
It's
was
not
gonna tell you about
California fall.
right. I was gonna tell you last
Oh.
week I went to last is it Sunday or Saturday? It was Sunday. We took a drive and we went to this show, this
Mhm.
kind of not really a yard sale, more like a community event. And we're going to talk about that in a minute about the word community. But we went to this community event, and there were people, selling their wares and doing this and doing that,
Mhm.
and you could see it's already starting to change a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And my husband was saying,
Oh my gosh.
wait till about October, and these
Mhm.
trees will be red, these will be brown, and it's just one of the things I was realizing today is having lived outside of LA and having lived in New York for a number of years, you
Mhm.
forget almost how much beauty is in nature because where we are, we're
Yeah.
like right in the middle of it, So you see all these trees and these, lakes and rivers. And I saw my little friend this morning. There's a wild turkey named Alita who comes by and she likes to sit on
Oh,
my front. She likes to sit in my little front patch of yard.
yeah.
And I saw her today. I was leaving, And, she was sitting in front of my car, just kind of sitting there looking
Mm,
around, not
mm-hmm.
bothering anybody. And it's like, wow, there are some other ways of living. So I'm excited to see what a real season change will look like, or a
Yeah.
seasonal shift, as they say, when it
Mm-hmm.
goes from summer into, okay, now we've got snow on the ground and it's cold, and you've got to, buckle up, and you've got
Mm-hmm.
to put on uh, your mittens or whatever you wear in your hands and kind of go. So I'm excited to see that. We are looking forward to
Yeah.
that. Let's jump in.
Mhm.
What do you say we get started? Let's jump in. So the word for today is community.
Mhm.
And I mentioned that a couple of seconds ago about community. So when you hear that, that's actually that's part of our mission for Burn the Manual Productions. We want to make sure that everything we produce, everything that we have a hand in, that we put out there, one of the cornerstones is the concept of community. Can you talk
Mhm.
a little bit about what that word means to you? Do you think about that word? How would you define that?
Yeah. I mean, when I hear the word community, automatically I think necessity. Like I need it. And I think it's something that we all strive for in different points of our lives. And I believe it can get hard to have your ideal community the older you get, um, depending on like where um, you know, just where you are in life. And I know for me, I've always had community. I think even all the way up until college,
Mhm.
um, there's always been this sort of community, and a lot of it was given to you, right? It was you have to go to school, okay, join the sports team, blah, blah, blah. And then right after college, I would say is when I actually felt like I had to start working to find a community. Like I had to actually put a whole lot of effort in to find a community that was actually fit for me
Mhm.
because nothing's like handed to you anymore, you know? And a lot of people what they do is their community will become like their family, right? So they'll have children, they'll get married, and so they have their little, family unit. That's their community plus a couple, friends here and there. But when you're, not in a relationship, when you don't have
Right.
children, when you don't live with anyone, you really have to find a way into communities. Something I realized during the pandemic, and I saw this girl, she made a video about it because she was really upset because she had recently moved to a new city. She had some friends, but she realized that when the pandemic happened and they were like, you have to stay within a small circle of people, your close family and friends, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
She realized that she wasn't one of those close family or friends with some of the friends she had made, friends with in her new city. They were just friends. They were maybe they weren't like super like best friends because they didn't know each other that
Mhm.
long, but for her, um, she realized she wasn't like a priority, like a friend,
Ooh,
she's like
okay.
C friend, D friend, E friend, right? And it's not bad. Well, because she said it's not that she doesn't it doesn't hurt her that she's so far in the friends list. It's that when it comes down to an emergency, state of emergency,
Mhm.
go to your closest friends and family. That's the people you're with. She realized she didn't meet that standard for all the friends she had around her in her new town. And she realized, oh, wow, I'm alone. I've been kind of, I don't have any super close near friends nearby that I can just hang out with and,
Mhm.
converse with throughout the pandemic. And she realized how alone she had felt because of that. And I think a lot of that I had related to, and not so deeply because I have great friends, but the idea of when you're so far away from your family, and if you're not living with anyone, if you're not if you don't have children,
Mhm.
who do you really go to during like a pain time, you know? And so it was just very it's very interesting for me to make sure that I'm putting in effort to find this type of community that kind of feels like family, where everyone has each other's backs
Mhm.
and you can kind of reach out, they can reach out. And so I hear that. I think like we need it. I don't think we're all meant to be isolated. And I think we work better when we're working with each other, for each other in that aspect. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Uh, yeah, I think one of the things that I saw that was fascinating, and it's unfortunate, or maybe fortunate, depending on how you want to look at it,
Hmm.
that I saw and I found it extremely fascinating was the concept of, when you have a tragedy, right? When something
Hmm.
happens, you really get to see who's part of your community, what part of community, where do you go for community as a person, right?
Hmm.
Where do I go to lay, as they say, lay my burdens down? Where do I go to share? Where do I go to? And not that you want to go jump on people all day, every day,
Hmm.
but I think you definitely get to see who, like the young woman you were just mentioning, you get to see how important you are to certain people. And one of
Yeah.
the things I think you find out with these kind of situations is you may not be as important to some people as you think you are,
Yeah.
right? Or you
Or as they are important to you.
or they yeah, or they you may put them in a different category in terms of they're super important to you. And maybe that isn't the case. Or this might be an opportunity to strengthen that relationship,
Hmm.
right? But I think when a tragedy hits, I mean, I've seen it with I was living in New York City when 9/11 hit.
Mm.
Like I had been there, yeah. I think 9/11 was in 2001 or
Hmm.
2000. In 2001.
Yeah.
Okay. And by that time I had been living there for 6 years. I had a community of folks,
Hmm.
right? People that I knew. I had other actors that I knew. I had a wonderful acting coach that I was really we had developed a relationship that was beyond just, mentor student type of thing. We really
Yeah.
had an affection for one another. And when 9/11 happened, it was almost as if people were walking around in New York City. Um, I felt like myself, a lot of what I was saying was a lot of people walking around being in a surreal, like almost an alternative
Hmm.
universe because we couldn't believe something like that had happened, right?
Yeah.
And what it does, it makes, and I remember going to this, one of the most moving things I've ever seen in my life. We went to, my partner at the time went to a vigil, a candlelight vigil that was
Hmm.
downtown in Union Square.
Hmm.
And New York has got hustle and bustle and people moving and yelling and cursing and talking, and it's all this energy, right? But
Yeah.
when we were at the vigil, nobody was talking. It was
Mm.
dead silence.
Wow.
And it wasn't a mournful silence. Like, oh, and it wasn't a panic, like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? It was more along, to me, it felt like it was more along the lines of a silence that said, we're all in this together and we're gonna get through
Hmm.
this. Like this is really hard and we're gonna get through this. And
Yeah.
I remember looking around at different people and just kind of catching people's eye. And they would catch my eye. And we just kind of give one another the knowing kind of like, okay, yeah, this sucks.
Hmm.
And we're gonna do something different. We don't know what that something different is, but it's imperative that we do something
Yeah.
different. And it was something about being there at that time. I mean, everybody felt it in America, right? Because it's
Hmm.
a city, it's a state in America. But I think being there, right in the belly of the beast, is not. There's no other. I don't know that I've ever had an experience like that.
Right.
When you're right in the middle of a tragedy with a whole lot of strangers, right, who
Hmm.
instantly form like in a blink of an eye a community. Because it's almost like you have to. Like you don't know what's coming next. You don't know how you're going to
Right.
get through something, and that doesn't even count the people that were personally affected, like they had a family member or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's super important. To me, community is all about figuring out, in some ways where you belong, who you belong with, being open to change, right?
Hmm.
Being open to saying, okay, well, I have this community here. Maybe I should go over here to get some other
Hmm.
needs met, right? So, for example, it's like one of the things that I'm dealing with having just moved back to the East Coast, is how do I develop a community?
Hmm.
I've only been here a month and a half,
Yeah.
and it's almost as if part of me feels compelled to create one immediately, right? That
Hmm.
would change everything. And then the other part of me feels like, why are we rushing? It'll
Hmm.
organically. I mean, I'm not gonna lock myself in the house and not talk to people, but it will organically
Yeah. Yeah.
unfold, right? And I'll meet the people that I really like and really, there's a market I go to here.
Hmm.
Um, there's a market that I go to here on Saturdays. It's a roadside market, and they always have fresh vegetables and fresh fruits and all this kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
this is now my third or fourth week in a row going. So now I'm starting to
Mm.
see the same people, right? I'm starting to see the same
Okay. Right.
cashiers, the same people that work that
Hmm.
handle the fruit. And I have to say I'm a little excited about that because you can start, people will begin to realize and recognize like what you buy or what I buy when I'm in, or what do my husband and I buy
Right.
when we're
Right.
both in there together. And it's a nice, it's the
Hmm.
difference between a big chain market
Yeah.
and somebody, when you walk in, they say, hey, I know you like mangoes. You should hurry up because they get ready to
Mm.
mark those down. I don't know. That's always been it's always been a very
Yeah.
important thing for me to have that and be able to, I guess in some ways, have the big city, but also have that Cheers norm effect. When you walk in, and people are like, hey, and
Hmm.
they're genuinely glad to see you, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, that's me. That's community, and it's all about, like I said, being willing to change it when you need to.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it's
Let me ask
interesting
you this
because
question about this. This is a question I've always struggled with about community. Let me ask you this: is it possible to have community with people that maybe you don't know, or people who are doing the great things in the world that you want to do and you want to be a part of at some point? Is it possible to be in community with somebody you haven't met yet? Like you don't know, like you know me personally, but like you don't know like Spike Lee, and I don't know Killer Mike, but I like what they're doing in the world. So do you think it's possible to create it without um, a knowingness or like a history with somebody?
yeah, I think it's almost kind of like when you say idolize, but look up to people online or
Mm-hmm.
celebrities that you don't really know, but
Mm-hmm.
you're a part of their fan base. And
Yeah.
it's almost like the fan base is the community in a way. There's so many people I watch, whether it's like podcasts or any of that, and like I enjoy who they are, what they stand for. And just by like watching some of the content they put up, I feel like I'm a part of this community even though I don't personally know them. And I think that's great. And I think it's so possible. But it also reminds me what you said earlier of like how someone can be so important and you're just not important to them. And a lot of that can be either they just don't know you,
Right.
right? But I used to wonder like how people became so obsessed with celebrities and how even celebrity deaths would affect people. I was like, how does you don't even know them? Like, how does a
Right.
celebrity death affect you so deeply? Like your life, someone can kind of, in a way, have such an effect on your emotions and
Mm-hmm.
your day to day life. To be honest, without even have seen your face, um, that could be a good and bad thing. It's how we kind of create bad leaders, you
Yeah.
know,
I mean, you
people
have to
who
be
want
careful.
to yeah,
You
yeah.
can
I
take
mean, you
things
can get
too
people who
far,
have
and
just like really bad rhetorics and then they, take their, fan base and the fan base is just driven by everything they say and that can be good or bad or whatever. But yeah, I feel like especially during the pandemic, I had looked to so many, I guess, celebrities in a way or like in entertainment personalities and it felt
mm-hmm.
like I was like a part of their world, especially those who kind of decided to be more open and intimate with their fan bases and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
um so yeah, I watch a lot. I watch and listen to a lot more podcasts nowadays than I used to, which is interesting.
Okay, well, I definitely want to revisit this at some point because I have a slightly different take on it. But I definitely
Interesting.
want to come back to it at a later date. I think we are done with this episode of our check-in. So I want to wrap
Hmm.
up and tell folks where they can find you, how they can reach out to you.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at Malaya Music, Melaya Music, or burnthemanualproductions.com. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Okay, and if you're looking for me, I am Anthony Carter. You can find me on Twitter at Anthony L. Carter. I'm on Twitter, all over Twitter, all the time. You can check out my website, burnthemanualproductions.com. That's our website where we put all this great stuff on there around film and deep thoughts and conversations and the founders chat. You can find it there. Also, if you want some great books, if you want to know more about what I think and how I think, I do a lot of writing on a different website, which is anthony-carter.com. Anthony-carter.com, where you can get blog posts, books, some podcasts I have on there. So check us out. We will talk to you guys soon. Please, please, please send comments, suggestions. If you want us to address something or an issue, please let us know. We're always interested in feedback. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah.